A marriage on the absolute brink of collapse, a princess pushed to the edge of a psychological breakdown, and a historic royal house paralyzed by an internal crisis of survival. This is the stark, unsettling reality facing the York family as the fragile boundary between public duty and private ambition completely fractures. For years, Edoardo Mapelli-Mazzi was celebrated as the stable, reassuring anchor operating quietly within the turbulent backdrop of the Windsor dynasty. The successful entrepreneur perfectly content to focus on his corporate interests while steering clear of the relentless scandal surrounding Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. But behind closed doors, that meticulously crafted facade of quiet domesticity has shattered, giving way to an entirely different, far more critical form of international scrutiny. Welcome back to the channel where we pull back the curtain on the hidden machinery of the global elite, exposing the high-stakes power plays operating just beneath the surface of the British monarchy. The crisis reached a tipping point when seasoned royal observers noticed a glaring, uncomfortable geographical divide. While Princess Beatrice remained isolated in Britain, bearing the immense, suffocating pressure of a family name permanently mired in controversy, her husband was spotted thousands of miles away, aggressively traversing an expanding corporate network that stretched across Florida, California, and elite global financial hubs. To the outside world, the real estate mogul appeared to be living an entirely separate, highly luxurious life abroad, completely disconnected from the crown. But the fundamental issue paralyzing the palace is not merely the physical distance or the grueling corporate travel. It is the highly problematic optics, and a sequence of bizarre, unexplained alterations occurring quietly behind the digital scenes that suggest something far more calculated is underway. What began as a routine series of international business trips has rapidly evolved into a significant strategic crisis, raising urgent questions about whether a royal spouse can ever truly separate their allegiance to the crown from their independent financial aspirations, especially when the internet footprints of a global empire suddenly begin to vanish without a trace. To comprehend the sheer scale of the tension currently mounting within the palace walls, one must examine the delicate timeline of the York family and the sudden, dramatic shift in Edoardo's global operations. For a substantial period, the narrative surrounding the couple was entirely conventional. The classic image of an affluent modern entrepreneur balancing a demanding professional schedule with the unique obligations of royal life. He traveled for high-stakes meetings, oversaw ultra-luxury residential developments, and returned home to his family in London. But as the domestic situation surrounding the Yorks grew increasingly fragile, public curiosity intensified, transforming every single photograph and corporate announcement into a subject of intense speculation. When images emerged of Edoardo attending exclusive investment conferences and elite real estate summits across the United States and the Middle East, the public response immediately fractured. Loyal supporters insisted he was simply managing his pre-existing commercial interests with the tenacity of a self-made man. Yet, critics openly questioned the timing of these extensive, high-profile absences during a period of acute family vulnerability. The commercial ventures under discussion were anything but ordinary, involving astronomical financial sums, ultra-luxury residential projects, and expansive international real estate portfolios. In the hypercritical arena of royal commentary, massive amounts of international capital inevitably invite deep skepticism regarding the identity of the backing investors and the true origin of the funding. While there is absolutely no evidence or implication of professional misconduct, the reality of the contemporary media landscape ensures that unanswered questions proliferate far faster than official clarifications. This growing disparity between a princess performing her institutional duties in Britain and a corporate executive building an independent empire abroad has created a distinct, unsettling impression.
This is absolutely like the funniest way to end this week. So I was heavily quoted in this piece that came out today. Here's what happens sometimes. Sometimes you give quotes to one outlet and they find their way into other outlets. I love this one though. Number one, I'm called an author, which like manifesting, yes, please. And I just sat down with Fox News Digital. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Unless you see a sit-down interview, that person was probably emailed for comment, which is totally fine. You're not getting stopped on the street for comment unless you're a celebrity or a politician or something. Your bat signal is more like, can you please reply to this by an hour from now? Just a little how the sausage gets made. And honestly, I stand by it. There's not that much Andrew news going on, so the focus has pivoted to the sisters. And as Ms. Constant puts it, they said she is a divorcee and we are going to respect that. I don't think that any outlet would have reported on Princess Beatrice's husband doing work in Florida if they weren't looking for a story. I also stand on this business. These two were married in 2020. Besides COVID, one of the reasons it was a scaled down wedding was because of her father's disastrous Newsnight interview in November of 2019, which saw him officially step down from working royal duties and was finally stripped of patronages and military honors. Like, now he's concerned how his father-in-law's misdeeds might impact his business. Baby, you married into this. You knew some of the allegations out there. You knew some of the problems. I'm assuming you saw that Newsnight interview, or perhaps even spoke to Beatrice, who was there to help make this interview happen and was in at least one of the final meetings before the interview. Like, the only difference right now is that there is something that almost resembles accountability for Andrew. But honestly, the best part is this line at the end, that the same ideas have been echoed by author Ingrid Seward. And that's that. It's just, it's so wild that I am the lead royal commentator on this piece, but I don't hate it. I stand by what I said. Anyway, fabulous Google alert. Because also everyone has Google alerts turned on about them. If you are in any way in the public forum, anytime I have one go through about me, I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? And so it's nice when it's not something bad.
Princess Beatrice's marriage is in turmoil. After her dad's arrest, her husband Eduardo has been pulling away from her in all the scandals involving the former House of York. He is a businessman and has many businesses to run and a reputation to maintain, so he's been spending a lot more time outside the UK and far away from the former House of York. Inside sources say that Beatrice is always keen to see the best in people and has always defended her dad in regards to the Epstein file allegations, and that has really taken a toll on her marriage with her husband Eduardo. He is always on the run, he's always traveling, and they have been growing apart. Could this be the end of her marriage? I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Follow for more.
From food shopping at Tesco to a 9-to-5 job and partying at Glastonbury, Princess Beatrice's life is said to be much more normal than you'd imagine. The royal, who announced she is pregnant with her second child earlier this week, is the eldest daughter of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson and is married to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. But despite being born into a lavish lifestyle, Beatrice has earned herself the nickname the most relatable princess. And royal expert Jenny Bond explained how Beatrice has really come into her own over the last few years. We already have a divorced queen on the throne, now we have a relatable princess, she said. When Beatrice married Eduardo in 2020, the couple chose a quaint and understated wedding, saying "I do" in front of a handful of guests. Not only this, but the princess didn't splash out on a traditional wedding gown either. Instead, she wore one of her grandmother's old white dresses for the occasion. Her marriage also meant she was the first royal to create a blended family, as Eduardo already had a son, Wolfie, from a former relationship. And when speaking about her stepson, Princess Beatrice once said she feels very lucky to have a bonus son. And a close friend explained how she is totally devoted to Wolfie, with his happiness always being her #1 priority. Being a stepmother makes her more relatable, Jenny said, as well as her talking openly about her dyslexia. Having struggled for years with her reading and spelling, Beatrice said dyslexia is not a pigeonhole to say you can't do anything. Instead, it's an opportunity and a possibility to learn differently. She also said those with dyslexia have magical brains and urged others not to let it hold you back. Jenny added that her openness about her dyslexia struggles makes her much more accessible, and she seems to be university liked. Whilst many working royals offset the cost of their lavish lives to taxpayers, Beatrice has a regular full-time job working in finance. It was her father, Prince Andrew's wish for his daughter to be a modern working woman. And like many modern women, Beatrice also enjoys attending gigs and festivals, having been spotted at Glastonbury many times over the years without security. She's also famed for having a late-night party trip, regularly being photographed swapping heels for flats after a night out.